Before I start, I too would like to just say how thrilled I am that Social Security entered the financial literacy arena. The initiative is fully consistent with the fact that Social Security was never meant to be more than a base of retirement income upon which people would add additional saving. And so making that clear and making it easier and more acceptable for people to save on their own is a very important initiative. Social Security also brings a lot to the table in terms of its reputation and its distribution mechanisms. We were testing some products and we were saying, and this comes from the Center for Financial Literacy at Boston College, doing work sponsored by SSA. And so we thought that'd be cool, right? A university. People in Phoenix and other places just didn't think Boston was that cool. They thought a lot of pointy-headed liberals up there who don't really know what they're doing. But they said, oh, but you're associated with the Social Security Administration. That's really good. And so it just brings enormous credibility to whatever we do. And also, we're very, very mindful because we think we produce cool products. We know we're not that good at marketing, and this idea that they have 1,300 field offices where they could hand out stuff and they send out annual statements to 150 million people is a distribution mechanism that we have our eye upon. So we're also happy that they gave us money. Because the money enabled us to do a whole host of different things in this area. We did traditional academic research. We did some experiments with randomized trials. We produced products, and producing products means that you do the research, you identify the program, you do the first draft of the product, you send it out for testing, you revise, you send it out for testing, you revise, and then we're waiting for more comments from you, and we'll revise and redo. And then we went, developed a plan for a comprehensive website based on the notion of WebMD. So let me just say briefly a word about each of these initiatives. The first project was sort of general research, and it was done by Bill Gale. And the question was, how well are current approaches working? And basically, the conclusion he comes to is that none of the traditional approaches show very strong evidence of success. Some things like automatic enrollment, or if you really simplify the process, along the lines of some work Anna has done, that does have some effect. Private sector efforts are just multiplying like rabbits out there, but they really haven't been tested. And he comes to the conclusion that you need sort of a public information campaign on a large scale that is credible, targeted, and timely. And I must tell you, we independently came to that conclusion. We didn't bribe Bill Gale in any way, but that we both all sort of centered on this general approach is interesting. Bill Gale is going to be here this afternoon. You can actually meet him and talk to him at 3:30, so that is, don't miss. The second research project was much more focused, and it's on target date funds. The general notion was that target date funds would be the only investment that people have. But as this graph shows, that less than half the people have only one target date fund. And Julie Agnew and her crew at William & Mary were trying to figure out, why is this going on? Is this a rational response that people are putting their toe in the water, testing these out? Is it that employers are putting people's money into maybe company stock? Or is it just some simple heuristic that people are following? So they've done some focus groups, and they are reporting on the results of those focus groups, and they're doing that tomorrow morning. We then have experiments where we're testing the effectiveness of BOLT, which is borrow less tomorrow, clearly built on the premise of saving more tomorrow. It helps clients pay their debt using a clear schedule and peer support. There are 3 groups. You either are eligible for Bolt, you're eligible for Bolt and with peers included, or you're not eligible. They have done some testing in some place, which I can't remember, and they're now broadening their sample size by doing testing in New York and one other site, and you can get an update on that also tomorrow. But unfortunately, that clicks with Julie, so that you're really going to have to choose between Julie and Jonathan Zinman. So then we get to BC itself, and what BC itself did is produce products. We produce products because that's our thing. We've always been into communicating with the public in some way. We put out briefs, 6-page briefs every 2 weeks. We produce these colorful booklets before this grant came on the scene, and so we really took this opportunity to expand our product production. The first product that we engaged in was Target Your Retirement, and this is an interactive product. It is based on research that shows that most people are not going to be prepared for retirement. It's also based on research that working longer can be very helpful. We know that there are other people out there who have focused on the issue of retirement preparation, but we feel like it's very finance-oriented. We instead, from the start, we focus like a laser on what we view as 3 big levers. Those levers are control your spending. And this is not the simple, like, save more. That's so vacuous to say to people, save more. It's focused on this notion that at age 50, people reach a period where their kids are grown and college is paid for, the mortgage is paid off, and they're at their prime earnings. And they really have a choice at that time whether to up their standard of living or keep their standard of living under control. And I know what I did at that period. I just went crazy and spent everything. But if you keep your spending under control, not only do you have a bigger pile, but you really have a lower standard of living that you have to replace in retirement. The second lever is working longer. And we think this is extremely important, probably much more important than asset allocation or anything like that. And the third lever that we believe is really important is your house. It's the most important asset for most people after Social Security. It's also a major expense. Downsizing, reverse mortgages, all that kind of stuff is really crucial and can have a big effect on your outcome. So we ask people for some initial information. With that information, we get a target monthly income. Then they have this dashboard where they can move levers that can affect how much they're spending, how much, when they're going to retire, and basically what they're going to do with their house, and they can see how close that gets them to their target levels. We've actually tested this stuff, and people have found this helpful. As you can see, the first one, control spending, they think they knew that all along, which is like save more. But the other 2 really seem new to them, and they really believe that it is an effective lever, and they believe it not just immediately after the test, but we went back and tested them later, and they retain this knowledge. So you can hear Steve Sass talk about this interactive program today at 3:30. You can also play with it at booth number 5. The next product that we produced was actually a paper product. It's in your package. It's called Managing Your Money in Retirement, and it responds to the changing world we live in, where we have people who have to deal with piles of money when they get to retirement instead of streams of income. They're going to live forever, and then healthcare costs are just rising very fast. It's designed to lay out a framework to make decisions about what you do after you retire simple. So it basically says, what do you need, what do you have, and what kind of insurance can you provide in case, so to avoid things going very wrong. Again, we have tested this product. I have to be candid with you. The first time we tested this, and we do our testing with Julie Agnew and her group at William & Mary in terms of focus groups, people went crazy. They just said, like, where did this booklet come from? Who are these people? Why are they telling us about annuities? Are they just annuity salesmen? And these people were so anxious, they just couldn't settle down. And so in response to that, we really had to redo the whole thing and rewrite it and refocus it and reframe it and explain to people why we were getting into this area. You can hear Steve talk about, Sass talk about this today also, and I urge you to go there. Our third product is an interactive product. It's called Curious Behaviors That Could Ruin Your Retirement, and it's based on all this behavioral stuff that basically if you have to make a lot of decisions, you get overwhelmed and you don't make good choices, that you tend to overrate the present and not think about the future, that people have emotional attachments to their house and they don't want to sell it. And so what it has is a lot of scenes, and in each scene, people can interact and do something. And so we're really big on this notion of learning by doing. And this is a product that takes, it's light and somewhat humorous, and we're hoping that by identifying these foibles that all of us have, that people won't let these foibles get in the way when they're making financial decisions. We've tested this again, and people seem to respond very positively to this. This is not going to be talked about today, but you can go to booth 5 and play with this yourself. I also do a little introduction here, so you can come and tell me whether or not I've missed a career opportunity from in acting. The final thing we did was an idea that came out of Bridget Madrian and David Leibson from Harvard, which was the notion that we needed a go-to website for financial information. Now, we're not as crazy as you think. We do know that there are other websites out there. And so we did a survey and sort of grouped them by type, and there are lots of them. There are thousands of them. But in each case, we found them either very specific or very commercial, or the quality of advice, the stuff they told you just wasn't right, or it was more news-oriented rather than really helpful on making financial decisions. So we found that looking internally in the United States, we really didn't see a comprehensive website where people could go. Looking internationally, we found sorted in New Zealand. We do know that the United States is not New Zealand, but New Zealand is, we don't have as many sheep. But this site in New Zealand is comprehensive, engaging, used by a large fraction of households, and it's something that we think merits consideration. And as you can see, other countries have adopted comprehensive national websites that are based on this approach. And so we are now looking at a comprehensive website, and in fact, we're doing a proof of concept for year 2 of creating a comprehensive module for pre-retirees. We've adopted the name Squared Away, and that's our working title, but as again, we're happy to have any other suggestions that you might have form to get this information out, and that means either Social Security itself, the new Office of Financial Literacy and the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau, FLEC or Treasury, or all the arms of the federal government that are involved in this area. We don't have any delusions that we can both produce and distribute. We think we're good at producing. So just let me conclude. If you want to have a successful financial literacy effort that really help households, you need it on a national scale. And the products need to be grounded in research, and they need to be tested and tested and tested and refined. We feel like they need to be housed somewhere. Originally, we had the NBR going off producing this website, and we were going off making products, and that didn't make any sense. And so we have brought those two efforts together. And then we understand that marketing is really important. So we are very excited to be involved in this endeavor. I'm serious in the sense that I want to reiterate what Anna said, is that we want your comments, we want your suggestions, we want your help. We are novices to this. There are many people in this audience who've been way ahead of us on this, and so your suggestions are just so valuable to us. Thank you very much.